Hey, this is Meredith's husband. I've got some SEO advice for you, but I'm going to keep it really simple so that you can understand it, so it makes sense, and most importantly, so you can actually use it. Do you remember we did an episode, I don't know, many months ago, and we talked about how to opt out from AI? Specifically for OpenAI, there was an opt-out page, and you could say, hey, please don't use my website for training purposes.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
I forgot about that, yeah.
We did that many, many, many months ago. And a lot has changed since then.
Yeah.
And I have a much better understanding of how this whole thing, how AI works
what I'm talking
in general.
About.
Yeah. I know a little bit now what I'm talking about. I mean, to be fair to myself, like kind of nobody knew what they were talking about like a year and a half ago or a year ago about AI. Like it was like, so anyway, I thought it was a good idea at the time. Like I saw that, I'm like, oh, that sounds like it's something that would be worth doing to opt out from training. Now I understand more why.
Okay. More why it's good to opt out?
Yes, exactly what it means and why it's good.
Okay.
So the norm, so right now, kind of the approach that most AI models are taking right now is you just take data, you take information, no matter where it's coming from, and you deal with the consequences later. Because there are no regulations about this right now. There are no laws. It's like AI is progressing too fast for there to be regulations made. And so there's lots of cases of this happening. Like you've heard of the New York Times suing OpenAI. You've heard of, what was the actress who didn't want her voice used and then they used her voice?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. So all these things, like I just use OpenAI as an example because they're the most visible company doing this. They take information from what should be private protected sources and they make it available through their AI, and then those places sue and eventually maybe they stop doing it. But like I said, there's no regulation, so there's no real consequence for them to do that. So the approach is we're just going to use your information, and later on if the courts decide we can't do it, then we'll stop doing it.
Right, but until then,
your info is our info.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to talk about how to protect your work and also to help hopefully change the norm, change the default.
I'm all for that.
Someday, like, there will be some regulation, there will be some laws, because think about it, like right now.
In Europe, in Australia.
Yes, they are ahead of us. They're faster to do these things. Their legislation, their governing bodies, their judicial system, they all work faster. Ours is slow, but we'll catch up. Just imagine. AI would be really good at if you wanted to say, if I want to hear Bruce Springsteen sing a Snoop Dogg song, like AI could do that. AI could probably do that really well. Now, who might be, pick any other artist. Okay. And I've heard like people turn rap into like bluegrass, and it's like, wow, that's actually really kind of catchy. It's weird. Anyway, so we like that as consumers, but who would not like that? Well, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah. Okay. So
I wouldn't like that.
Exactly. So when this starts to happen enough, Bruce Springsteen and other influential artists who have the power to make objections are going to do that, and that's when regulations will happen.
I hope so.
But before then,
let's hear Bruce Springsteen covering Sesame Street.
This is Big Bird singing "Drop It Like It's Hot."
How do you make your site AI non-inviting?
So the trick is that you want your site, you want your work to not be used for training purposes. However, you do want your website and your work to be found in AI search. So you don't want it to be used for training. You want it to be available for discovery, because the norm also now, people are going to use AI to search. So you want your business, you want your website to appear in AI search. The advice that I have seen so far when people give advice, how do you protect your work, is you put something in your Robots.txt file and it blocks AI bots from crawling your website. Okay. Now, number one, that probably will help prevent AI bots from using your work for training purposes. Okay. However, it will also block AI bots from discovering your business. People ask for photographers near me. Okay. So the trick is, and this is not impossible. You can this is very doable. You want to be able to be discovered, but you don't want your work to be used for training.
Right.
Okay. So what I'm going to talk about, is how to do that. So don't use if you hear advice like, put disallow AI bots in your robots file. Don't do that, because then you're most likely nothing is guaranteed, but you're most likely then not going to appear when people do searches for your business. So how do you opt out? Well, you do it with the platform itself. With OpenAI, with Meta, with you do it with the end platform. It's not something that you do on your site.
Oh.
You can't, like I said, you can put things on your site. There's two problems with that. Like I said, number one, you could end up blocking your entire business from AI so that nobody finds your business using AI. And the other problem is it doesn't guarantee anything. Like you put a lot of instructions in your website to Google and to other bots. Hey, please don't do this. They can do it anyway. Like there's no guarantee. What you need to do is you need to go to all the platforms, and most of them have some sort of like opt-out option. Now, like
what platforms are you talking about?
So OpenAI is a platform. ChatGPT, that's their platform. If you go to OpenAI, they have a form that you can fill out. It's the one we shared many months ago. It says, please don't use my information for training. Now, same thing, they might do it anyway. In fact, OpenAI, it seems to me, their method is like, yeah, we're going to do it anyway. Like think of Scarlett Johansson. She said, don't use my voice. They did it anyway.
And then would we go to like Google?
Yes, you would go to all the, the platforms would be places like Anthropic. They do a chat model called Claude. You go to OpenAI. They do ChatGPT. You go to Meta. By the way, anything you post on your Instagram or Facebook is open. It's fully available to them to use as training, unless you go to this page and say, please don't do that. Okay. Now, the problem is they might not abide by this. However, that's because the regulations haven't been formed yet. So when you go to all these different platforms, the form is not uniform. It's not the same. There is not one blanket form that you could submit to all these because there is no regulation. So they're all a little bit different. And they will.
And where do you find them?
I'm going to link to them.
Hey, thank you.
I have a blog that's going to link to all of them. Yeah.
Oh, that is in one place?
All in one place. I will link to it below. It'll have a checklist of the things you want to do and the places you want to go. There's another one called DeviantArt, which is, have you heard of DeviantArt? It's more catered towards like AI for creating art. So the reason you would do this, if you want to, like, let's fast forward and let's say you don't do this and AI has like free reign to do whatever they want. Somebody, I'm just going to use you as an example, your work.
Okay.
Somebody, one of your clients could say, I want a photo album this year of my kids. Here's a couple photos I took with my iPhone. Please do it in Meredith Zinner style photography. And if AI has used your work for training purposes, then it will be able to generate that pretty easily. If, however, it has not used your work for training purposes, then it would probably not be able to do that. So if you have especially if you have a very distinctive style, I think of somebody like Summer Murdoch, super identifiable visual style. So I think it'd be super important for somebody like that to do this because you don't want your style of photography to be like an AI filter that anybody.
No, you do not.
Yeah, right. So that's why you want to do this. And like I said, there is the possibility that these companies, they might not listen anyway. But in the case that they don't, you are still, I would argue, helping to affect change. You're helping to affect that. You're on the forefront. If at some point there is some regulation, and I'm sure there will be at some point, I would certainly want to be in the front of that list of like somebody who is like already in line. I already submitted my stuff. If there's a class action lawsuit at some point, this would kind of help you be involved there.
Yes.
If you don't do this, you're going to have I wouldn't think you have much leg to stand on if you say, but I
was just going to use that.
Yeah.
Would Adobe,
Adobe has one. Yes. Adobe has,
Adobe would be a thing?
Pretty much every company you can think of.
Right.
Especially catering to photographers is going to have some AI thing. And so this list that I will, like I said, I created a list of all the places you can go and opt out. There will be more. It'll change over time. I'll try to keep it updated. But the only thing I can guarantee is that this will change over time. So there are also some, I would say, collective effort resources. There are some organizations that are kind of pushing for this sort of stuff. I will
pushing for which stuff? For it to be regulated?
For it to be regulated, for artists to be protected, for their work to be protected and not just ripped off and basically sold by OpenAI.
That's
I will link to those also in this blog article. If you can, if nothing else, you might want to just follow them and keep updated, on what's happening here. Anyway, I think this is worth knowing as a visual artist. Holy cow! As an artist, really, of any kind. Especially visual artists, because I remember reading recently that the number of photos generated by AI has already surpassed the total number of photos ever generated throughout history by actual humans. So this is a thing. I would say if you are any sort of visual artist, this is
get on it.
I'm absolutely doing this on my site because I think I teach SEO and this technical stuff a little differently than most people. Mm-hmm. I absolutely don't want my voice kind of being taken by AI and just given to anybody who asks for it. My opinions, my approach. So I'm absolutely doing it.
I'm going to do it. Won't you join along?
If you know other photographers, if you're part of a group of photographers online, where if you know other people that this would be helpful, share this episode with them. Or share the link that is in this episode and say, hey, do this just in case. It absolutely cannot hurt, and it probably will help.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How's that for a slogan? It probably won't hurt.
I'm looking forward to it.
I wanted to revisit this because a lot has changed since that last episode. I didn't want that to be the only thing. And I'll probably update this episode in another year.
Yeah.
But right now, this is where we are. Go do it.
Hey. Thank you so much for listening. We really hope that you find this helpful and useful. And if you do, what you could do for us as a thanks would be to, drumroll please, leave a review. Yes, everybody says it, I know, but it really does make a difference. Take 3 seconds, leave as many stars, say something really nice about what you like about the podcast and maybe why other people would like it. It would mean the world to us, especially my husband. That better? All right, I'm going to try one where I'm not going to be charming.